Thanks very much, Craig. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Great, super. Okay, good to see you all here this afternoon. We're going to, yeah, as Craig said, we're going to have a look at some symbol software options. We'll be moving through things at a fairly brisk pace in the 20 minutes, but remember, you'll be able to refer to the recording of this session, which will be uploaded to the Call YouTube account in the next couple of days. And also the very last slide in the presentation has a link and a QR code you can scan, and you can get a PDF of the presentation. And it will have a kind of summary page of all the symbol resources that we're going to look at. So plan for this afternoon, because this is an overview and not a step-by-step walkthrough of how to use these bits of software, we're going to examine some of the options that are available by using these questions to kind of help us think about what things look like and what's out there. So we'll think about appearance of the symbol set. Does it have options to make high contrast symbols for learners who have visual difficulties? Is it possible to edit symbols and tweak their appearance? Templates are a huge time saver, so we'll also think about template options that are available, you know, the sorts of technology that you might be using in schools. Are there overlays, blank overlays for GoTalk9 templates? Are there templates for making labels for Big Macs and step-by-steps, that sort of thing? A couple of the options that we're going to look at have the ability to create interactive materials. So when I mean interactive materials, for the purpose of this webinar, it's basically things that a learner can either move around on the screen by themselves, or something that they can tap and it will speak back a message or speak back the text to them. Obviously, one of the big considerations for schools as well is actually how you get this stuff on your school computers. So is it a download? Is it something that needs to be installed? Or is it something that you can run in a web browser like Google Chrome or Microsoft Edge? And obviously, one of the big considerations as well, how much does it cost? Is it an annual subscription, or is it just something that we can buy as a one-off and there aren't any other costs involved? So that's what we're going to think about this afternoon. We're going to do it alphabetically, and so we're going to begin with a Spanish-based website that is unique in this set of options of creating symbol software, because it's actually free to access. The website is called Arasac. And this is the symbol set here, and eagle-eyed people among you might spot that these symbols were used in one of our call posters, Getting Started with Book Creator. So there's coloured symbols, there's black and white versions available, and you've been able to download files, individual files of that symbol set, searching it for quite a wee while. But in the last couple of months, they've revamped the website completely. So now you've got some really nice template features available for creating symbolized learning tools. It runs in a browser, so you don't need to download anything at all. And as I said, it's free. So let's have a quick look and see what it's like. So this is the website here, and it refers to its symbols as pictograms. So if you wanted to search for a symbol, you'd click on pictograms. I'm going to search for hello, and it will pull up the options. So here are the options that we can use. If I click on it, you'll see that it gives me actually lots of options to modify the symbol, to change the colour, to change the appearance of the person on the symbol. And because we've got these little grey and white checkerboard effect behind it, this tells us that it's a transparent symbol. So we're not going to get a white background if we import it into a PowerPoint presentation or a Google Slide presentation. So that's actually a really nice, helpful feature. So you can just download that as a .png file and insert it into a Word document, into a PowerPoint, whatever. But the new thing that I was talking about is this online tools feature. So here we'll see that there's various things that we can actually make using the symbols that are on the website. There are some nice games here. There's snakes and ladders, the ever-present bingo, domino, there's a calendar and schedule generator. This feature here, the animations maker, is quite unique to Arasac, I think. It allows you to take a set of their Arasac picture symbols and loop them together and sort of turn them into a bit of an animated GIF, which you can then import into PowerPoint. So if I show you, I've got one here. I've just put a set of symbols in, and you can have it just looping round and round. So, you know, that could actually be a really nice sort of useful tool to use for schedules, or, you know, reflecting what's happening in the day, that kind of thing. And you can change the timing between the flicking of the pictures. But what about if we wanted to just make something simple, like a first and a then board, so our people can get some support around what's happening now and what's going to happen next? Well, if I go to the board generator, I'll show you how we would do that. It's quite small text, so I'm going to zoom in so you can see it a bit more clearly, hopefully. There we go. So I'm going to have, oh, we're very zoomed in. So I'm going to have one row and two columns because I want a first and a then board. And I'm going to scroll down, and I want the pictures, the symbols, to be absolutely as big as they can be. So I'm going to select 9. And you'll see, as I said at the start, this is a Spanish website, so it uses Google Translate. So some of the wording in it just isn't quite right. So you do have to kind of think about things sometimes to just make sure you've got the right language. And if I scroll down and scroll out, so you can see, this is the cell where I'm going to add my first picture. To do that, I click on the little green plus, and I'm going to search for puzzle. So we're going to do a first then board with jigsaw puzzle first and then snack next. Here's my options. They're blurry because I'm zoomed in at the minute. It'll look a bit clearer in a wee second. To scroll over, and for this one, I'm going to put apple as the snack. And there's the options. You'll see there's photographs, and you can upload photographs as well with this. I'm going to zoom out now. That's it. So we're back to normal size. And now I'm going to click this play button here. So by clicking this generate communication board, it's going to open, and that's going to populate with the two symbols that I have put in. So if I open and show you, you'll be able to see the first puzzle, then snack. So that's it there. So sort of simple, relatively simple to use interface, and I think an interesting option, particularly because it is free to use. So that's the Arasac symbol set website. Okay, moving on. We're going to go now to the one that's probably the most familiar to everybody, and it's really popular in Scotland. That's Boardmaker. Just flagging up that Boardmaker 7 was released a couple of months ago, and Boardmaker 7 replaces Boardmaker Online. Boardmaker Online used Flash because you used it in a web browser, and Flash stopped working at the end of 2020. So this new tool from Boardmaker has been introduced to replace it. A couple of things just to point out with the Boardmaker stuff. With it, you get your kind of traditional PCS people symbols. You know, you've got the bald people and you've got your stick people as well. But you also get bundled in with the symbol set now the slightly newer PCS thin line symbol set. There's various options for that. And what's something I think will be useful for folks, the PCS high contrast symbol set as well. So that now comes as standard with all of the symbols. With Boardmaker, you can create things from templates. You can also create them from scratch if you want to. but you can also create interactive materials from templates or from scratch. And I'm going to very quickly show you an interactive template because there's actually some really nice ones available in Boardmaker. This time round with Boardmaker 7, it doesn't work in a web browser. It is a bit of software that you have to download. There's a couple of options for doing that. You can subscribe or you can buy it as a one-off purchase. And different things are available to you with the subscription compared to the one-off purchase. So if you subscribe to Boardmaker 7, it's $9.99 per month or $99 per year. It starts off at that. Or you can buy a one-off purchase of Boardmaker for £359. The Boardmaker subscription gives you access to all of the symbol updates that happen fortnightly. So it will push out new symbols to you, as well as a couple of other things. And there's some links there that you can click to get to access free trials for them as well. Let me just show you what the interactive things are like, just in case you're not familiar with them. This is an interactive schedule template that all you need to do is just populate with your symbols. So I've done it for kind of a first thing in the morning schedule. I'm going to click play. And you'll see now, if I was using this, for example, on an interactive screen.
Hello.
Because I've got the Scottish voices installed on my computer.
Weather report.
They'll speak Scottish to me. And then once we've done the things, I can drag them over into the finish box. And there's a very pleasing pop as they disappear. And it's really simple to just restart and start over again by clicking on the restart button up there. So that's the interactive stuff. I'd said that there were templates as well available. Let me show you what that looks like. So if we were going to do our first and then board in Boardmaker 7, I would click on printable. And you can see these are all the templates that are available. There are more complex visual schedules available in the templates here. But actually what we want is just a sort of 2-cell board, a first and then board. And I know that there's one of those up in communication. So I can scroll on there and I'm going to select this 2-cell communication board. And then to populate it with a symbol, I just click on it, start typing, and my symbol will come up. There's a lot of options for puzzle, as you can see. Worth noting that in here, there's your high contrast symbols, you see with the sort of slightly altered colours. I'm going to select that one. And I've also got the option as well to change where the text goes, to change the font, etc., etc. That saves as a Boardmaker file, and then to share it and print it and use it elsewhere, everything now saves as a PDF, and you can print that as a PDF. Okay, so Boardmaker, that's probably the most familiar one to you, but what else? What are the other options? Well, Imprint3 is the software from Widget, who are a UK-based company. It uses the Widget symbol set, which lots of schools with older learners find is a nice sort of age-respectful symbol set to use. Imprint is their tool for creating printed symbol materials. And as we'll see in a wee second, there's absolutely loads of templates that you can use. It's a download, so you need to have it installed on a computer. It's a one-off cost, so it's £179 to purchase it. So let's have a wee look. Here we go. So this is the kind of templates file. If I just show you, for example, the science templates, as you can see, there's Venn diagrams and all sorts of other diagrams in there. There's sentence construction worksheets with color coding, with the Fitzgerald key, and also if we want to do a first and then board, There's not really anything in the communication templates, but if I look in flashcards, yeah, I know that I can get a two flashcard first and then board. So I'm going to click create on the bottom right hand side of the screen, and it will open up a blank one for me to populate. If you're used to using Microsoft PowerPoint, Microsoft Publisher, Word, it sort of reminds me of that. But you know, you've got your ribbon at the top here with all of the different features and different tabs to be able to change things in them. As with the other things, it is just a case of type your word and it pops up on the screen. So first jigsaw and then snack, and you can change the look of the symbols really simply by clicking on the right hand side. You can add photographs, you can add various other pictures that you've got available. This just links to your printer and prints off as a file, and it saves it as an imprint3 file. So it's relatively easy to sort of print off and laminate and start using. We're going to look at another widget tool just at the very last one, but certainly this one, traditionally special schools, specialist provisions have tended to go for widget for imprint3 if they want to create those just printed materials only. Okay, so moving along in the alphabet, next up we have one which I think will be relatively unheard of to most folk. It's increasingly popular in the US. It's called Lessonpix, and it's got some really nice integration with PowerPoint, which I'm going to show you. There's a very large library of icons and pictures. There's clip art in there as well, which you can use. They do have a high contrast core vocabulary word set in there. But one of the unique features of Lessonpix is that you can turn any of the symbols into a high contrast symbol just with a click of the button. We'll have a wee look at that in a minute. You can create printed materials very simply. You can also create interactive materials, and it all runs in a web browser, so nothing to install. The pricing varies depending on how many people are going to be using it, but for one user, it starts at $36 per year. So it's an annual subscription. So let's have a wee look at Lessonpix. I think I'm probably going to have to sign in again. Yes, I am. Okay. You need to kind of get your head around the way Lessonpix does things. So it's different from Imprint3, from widget symbol creation software, from Boardmaker, where normally you would start with a blank page or start with a template and populate it with the symbols. It's the other way around with Lessonpix. So this green thing here, this is your tray. So you start with the symbols that you want to use, and then you create the materials out of that. So, for example, well, let's go for our puzzle snack board, and I'll show you what I mean. All you do is just click search in the top here. These are all the options. So symbols and clip art. I'm going to put this one in the tray. So I just click to add it, and that's it in my tray, and it will stay there until I remove it. I'm going to look for snack as well. There's my snack options. So I'll go for this one, click to add it, and that's it. So we're just using two symbols in this example. I'm going to click create materials. So now it gives me all of the things that I can make with those two symbols. And as I go through, if I click on the examples here, it will show me a picture of what that might look like. So what's quite interesting about Lessonpix is it's got labels for all of the kind of common simple communication devices you might be using in school. So Big Macs, it's got GoTalks down here, there's eye gaze frames, all sorts of things. But it's also got fine motor skills, templates, it's got learning games, all of your kind of usual dominoes, etc., bingo. it's got early literacy, and it's got math stuff as well. But we are going to use a first then board. So I'm going to click next. You can change the look of the symbols, you can give them different color backgrounds, you can also change the font, etc., etc. When you click create, it's going to generate a PDF by default. So if I click download, we can then see that there's my nice big first then cards. Yeah, so that's it there. But one of the other interesting things that you can do, and I'm going to use a different symbol set just to demonstrate this to you, is it integrates with PowerPoint. So I'm going to click clear on here and go back to the home page and go back to my Lessonpix. Okay, I've got a whole ready-made set of feelings symbols here. So I'm just going to add them to my tray, and I'm going to click create materials. And I'm going to scroll down to learning games, and I'm going to select game board. So it's going to turn all of these feeling symbols into a game that we could play with a dice or a spinner. So that's great. You know, we could print it off and use it with laminated cards. But what we can also do, apart from having a PDF, if I click download other download formats, you'll see that it's giving me options for PowerPoint. I'm going to select PowerPoint with fixed tokens here, and it's going to generate a blank PowerPoint. I'm going to open, and I'm going to be able to use that PowerPoint in an interactive way. I've actually already generated it because I thought it might take a wee while in the meeting. So this is it here. I've got 2 tokens. There we go. 2 tokens, which I can move around the board. I've confused PowerPoint because I'm trying to open 2 things at the same time. So we'll give it a wee second. But one of the other tools that it has, there we go, that's the blank one. So you can delete all of these, you can move them around, and you can use it essentially as a game board. But if I go back to Lessonpix, scroll up to your Lessonpix and click on the Lessonpix play tools, it's going to open up wee pop-up, and I can now generate lots of other spinners and dices using the things that are in my tray here. So if I go to PowerPoint and open that up, so I'm going to open up the other one because it's a wee bit easier to see what's going on. And I pull in my wee window and I generate, say, a dice. It's going to give me a dice with all of the symbols that I've got in my tray and on my board game on there. I'm making to roll it. So I can really see it being something really, really useful to use on a whiteboard in the classroom. We could do a whole session on Lessonpix, but hopefully that's given you a wee taster of exactly what it's like. Okay, time is crashing on, so we're going to move on. I'm not going to show you Matrix Maker. I know at least one person in the session here today is using it. Matrix Maker is from Inclusive Technology. It's got about 3,000 widget symbols, 3,000 symbol stick symbols, and you can use it for making templates of things, printed templates of things. It's a pretty easy to use bit of software. It's a download, and it's £169, and that's just a one-off purchase. And there's a wee link there to try it out for 2 weeks. The other one that we're not going to look at, again for time reasons, is Symbol Sticks Prime. I just wanted to flag up that is available. That uses purely symbol sticks. It's the people who make symbol sticks who have the website. You can create printed and interactive resources with it. It works in a web browser as well. No need to download the software. It's an annual subscription, and because it's American, it's $129. One of the things that you do get with symbol sticks is a really, really current symbol set, because they have various other projects that they do, including News to You, which talks about current affairs and it gives accessible news with symbol-supported text. So you've got access to all of those things as well. I just wanted to finally finish off by showing you Widget Online. So this is again Widget. This is their online tool. Traditionally, mainstream primaries have kind of tended to go for Widget Online, whereas, as I said, the specialist settings have gone for imprint free. But actually, there's some really nice features in Widget Online that I want to show you. So I'm going to just click on the tab, and I'll probably have to log back in again. Yes. There's a really nice way to share what you've made with families on Widget Online. So I'm not going to show you how to generate a first then board. I have already made one, so I'm going to click View, and it's going to bring it up. And one good thing about Widget Online is that it's now got all the Scottish, it's now got 4 of the Scottish Seroproc voices in it. So I've got Andrew set here, but we could have Heather, the adult, we could have Mary, the Scottish child, or Stuart, the Scottish male. So let's go back, Andrew, and if I click on it,
Jigsaw.
it reads it out loud.
Snack.
But what's really nice is, if I click direct link, it will generate a link that I can send to a parent or to someone else so that they can access that very page that I've got without needing to be logged into anything or have a subscription for anything. So I've just copied that link. I'm going to close that down, and I'm going to open it up in a new browser. So that would then give them access on a phone or on a device at home to, maybe a sequence of supports across the school day or maybe for things that they find challenging at home. So I think that's a really, really nice feature of Widget Online. It's very, very easy to share. Okay. If you want a kind of one-page summary of all of those bits of software, this is a link to a page on our Symbols for All website, which has all of these options in table form with clickable links, which you can use, as well as some other key considerations and questions to ask if you're thinking about changing the symbol software or introducing symbol software in your school. And as I said, you can also click on this link here, or if you've got a phone or tablet, open the camera app and put it at the QR code, and you can download a PDF of the presentation. So, has anyone else got any other questions? There's certainly lots of links there, so you can go off and investigate. And I think everything apart from Symbol 6 online, Symbol 6 Prime rather, has options for free trials. So you can click and download and have a wee go.
Fiona saying, thank you, very helpful. Do you have any advice about trying to download Boardmaker? I have a subscription but having issues with it.
Fiona, I don't have any specific advice that would help you other than to say you're not alone. There have been a lot of problems with the new Boardmaker 7. Just get in touch. I know that they're certainly trying to address them, but I think it's away from being completely fixed for quite a few people.
Lots of positive comments, Claire. Thank you very much. Great stuff. Thanks for the overview. Great resources, good ideas. So well done. So succinct and speedy. I have to agree with that. Yes, very succinct and speedy. Thanks, Donna.
I'd be interested to hear how folk get on if they're going to go and try the Arasec, the free one, out, because I think there's interesting possibilities there with what you can do. So any feedback on any of them, we're always really interested to hear how folks get on with things. So my email address is on the screen there, or if you do the tweeting on Twitter, you can get in touch with me on there as well.
Okay, thanks, Claire. I think we'll close the session. And just let everyone know we've made a recording, so it will be available in the next couple of days, and you should get a link to the recording. So thanks again to everyone for joining, and thanks to Claire for such a great session. Thanks, everyone. Thanks. Bye.